All right, so we're going to do example number 1. So graph y equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 6. Determine the intercepts, the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the domain, and the range. The only tool that we have in our toolkit right now is to use that table of values. So I've set it up. X is on the left-hand side, and then y values on the right-hand side. I've chosen appropriate x values so that that shape of the parabola will really come out. I'm going to do this very quick, but all I'm doing here, folks, is I'm taking the -4 and putting it in for the x values. So I'm just going to verbally say it. -4 squared is positive 16 times 2 is 32. So remember that, 32. 4 times -4 is negative 16. So 32 minus 16, that's 16, minus 6 is 10. I've done all these calculations already. So when x is -3, y turns out to be 0. When x is -2, y is -6. When x is -1, y is -8. And then it starts bobbing up again. When x is 0, our y value is -6. And look at the symmetry, guys. -6, -6. This is going to be 0, and this is going to be 10. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot this. Pretend that these are coordinate points, which they are. Don't need to pretend. So at -4, -1, 2, 3, 4, comma 10. Please note my graph is beautiful. Why is it beautiful? I have my arrows, okay? I also have my scale. It's great. Now -3 and 0, here's another point. -2 and -6, 2, 4, 6. -1 and -8, 0 and -6, 1 and 0, and 2 and 10. So we got a real nice looking parabola here that looks something like this. And again, I really like it because I have my arrows here, and I'm going to just like put the cherry on top. Y equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 6. This is a complete graph. It looks a little bit wonky here. I hope you guys can forgive me about that. But we see that parabolic shape that's happening. So let's start in on the questions. Number 1, the intercepts. The intercepts are when the graph touches an axis, okay? So here's one, and here's one. So the way that we write the answer to this, so this right here is A, no problem. B, I, the intercepts are -3, comma 1. Then I put a semicolon, and then I follow with my y-axis. So this is -3 and +1. This one is -6. The vertex is this spot right here. So what's the coordinate point of that? Well, we have -1 and -1 and -8. So I just say the vertex is at -1, comma, -8. The axis of symmetry, this is a little bit trickier because we need to give it as an equation. And sometimes what I do is I forget how to give the equation of a horizontal line, and sometimes I forget how to give the equation of a vertical line. I don't know about you guys, but it's sometimes tough to remember that. So first things first, I'm just going to draw it in. It's going to be right here. It intersects at the vertex. So it's the equation of this line right here. Now I hesitate using a dotted line because that is a signal for asymptote, which you will learn probably later on this year or next year. But it's just a dotted line to show what it is. Now what I'm saying is my x value is -1 no matter what my y value is. So what's my x value, or what's the x value when y is -8? Oh, it's 1. What about when it's when it's positive 1? Oh, it's negative 1. Okay? So your x value is always going to remain constant. So that's what since your x value is what remains constant, that's what we start off with an equation of a vertical line. So x equals, and it's always going to equal negative 1, so that's what I'm going to write in. Please note, guys, look at the similarities here. X equals negative 1, negative 1. This is the vertex, remember. This is the x-coordinate of the vertex, and this is the equation of the line of symmetry. They're related! Now, domain. Domain is the fact that domain will express what values x can be. Guess what? X can be anything. X can be negative 2. It can be pi. It can be negative 5. It can be a whole bunch of different numbers. X is an element of the reals. So that's for our domain. For our range, though, that's a little bit different. I'm noticing that it opens up. So ding, ding, ding. We know that our A is positive. You don't need to know that for this question, but it's good to know for later. It opens up so that, and our point right here, our lowest point is negative 8. So we know that x is greater than or equal to negative 8. Also, oh sorry, I said x, but I wrote y. Remember, guys, range is always y, domain is always x. So y is an element of the reals. And we got it! I to V, finished.